As soon as we start talking about relaxing activities or non-activities, we start to get a little anxious. Why? Why? Because I have too much to do. I have too much to do. I have a to-do list, and it must be done. Yeah, and we're driving ourselves to an early grave. I tell you what. And I'm as guilty as anybody. It feels weird to not do anything. Regional Psychological Services, drjohnb.com. That's where you find my good friend and one of the more calming voices. I love his voice. Dr. John Braccio with us every Tuesday about this time. Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And we are talking about a topic that can really get people going, even if they're really not thinking about having a to-do list. But a to-do list, they're popular. They can be critical to a person's self-esteem, and people often talk about the importance of having a to-do list in order to set priorities in their lives. The problem is the list can overwhelm the individual as it keeps getting longer and never seems to get finished. It is not just procrastinators who become overwhelmed with to-do lists. No, it's anyone who tries to do so many things they can't hope to get them done, and the end result can either be getting overwhelmed by what is not done, or the situation where many things are started but not completed because new priorities go to the top of the to-do list. Either way, the person feels lost and a failure. Perfectionists in particular can have problems with a to-do list because they never feel anything is done right or done as well as it could be. The result can be never completed lists loaded with perceived failures. Something to remember is that computers slow down when we have too many open tabs. The brain works the same way. We tend to focus, this is important, as much on things that are completed, not enough, but focus on things that are not completed. So here we are, kind of forgetting all the successes, but here we are focusing on things that aren't getting done. As a result, persons can spend countless hours focusing on what they are not doing in their to-do list and not realizing they may actually be doing fine. Most persons, if they're really being honest, will admit they have spent many hours not sleeping about things that have not completed and they feel need to be done, or many hours at any time of the day focusing on things that aren't being completed. My point here, Mike, is not for you to not have a to-do list. No, on the contrary, it can be very helpful to set priorities and get things done that need to be completed. The problem is if the to-do list keeps getting bigger and the activities that have not been completed on the list begin to overwhelm the person's brain. Ways to get overwhelmed, okay, in terms of can come from many different sectors, but to not get involved and be as effective as we can be would really include the following. We have to determine the night before what priorities that you have needs to be done. Then on a daily basis, take a look at your to-do list, cross off all the things that are not that important, okay? Focus on the things that can reasonably get done, then complete the most important activities on your to-do list. Do focus on what you have not completed or things further down the list that you may or may not get around to based on, your needs at the time. These may seem simple, okay, but they're not for many, many persons. One doesn't have to be a psychologist to meet persons overwhelmed by their to-do list. No, they're all around us. But now is the time to take control of your life and use your to-do list in a reasonable way to be more effective as you meet priorities and not get overwhelmed by non-priority tasks. But really, it's true, Mike. So many people have these lists. They keep getting overwhelmed. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And they kind of ruin their days and their weeks and even their months. And if you don't think this is true, really just go and ask someone, hey, how is your to-do list? Or they may not know it's a to-do list, but say, how are you doing on getting things done? And many will say, I just can't seem to get things done. That's kind of the way it works.
Yep. The first, or even just, hey, how you doing? Everybody will say busy. Well, I'm busy. But are you productive? There's the question. You know what? For me, Doc, here's, and I'm as guilty as anyone, like I said.
Well, we all are.
But I don't feel, if I don't have something on my to-do list, which there always is, I don't feel like I have to fill it up. You know what I mean? Maybe that's because there is always something ready to do, and if I don't have it, Lisa will find it for me. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just and if I'm not, here's the thing. If I come up with, well, I've got a wide open space here for about 3 hours, uh, I feel like I got to fill that up. Not out of a panic mode. Just I don't want to seem to myself like I'm being lazy.
Well, here's the thing, though, Mike. If you're doing okay, if you're not feeling overwhelmed, then that's good. I think we all need things to do, and we all are working on projects and whatever it might be that keeps us busy. It's when we get on overload by thinking that we are overwhelmed and we can't do all these things. We say, I've got 30 things to do. So the main thing is you just have to have a reasonable day, a reasonable life. Here's what I can do. This is within the realm of the possibility, and go from there. Like if you say, I have to do these 10 things a day, and it's impossible. It's 25 hours of activity, and you've got 10 hours to do it. No, that just doesn't work. You've got to have a reasonable list, if you will. You have to call it a list, but a reasonable number of things you're going to do, and they're going to be a priority. Like for you, in the morning, you prepare the day before, you prepare, and you have your morning show, and a lot of people count on listening to you. That's important. But if you all of a sudden, well, you do. But if you all of a sudden want to put 20 hours of people into your show, okay, well, it's just not going to work. You're going to get overwhelmed. You have to pace yourself. You have to know what you can do. But it's amazing how many people can't do that. They're overwhelmed. They're just overwhelmed. Those things. I mean, Dr. Braccio, or just a person in life, will say, hey, I got all these things I have to do. And I'd say, take a time out, determine what are the things that are the most important to do, work on those, and don't end up having 20 projects. Like if I talk to someone who has 10, 20 books in their house that they started reading but never finished them, okay, that's a good example of not having a good set of priorities. Okay, you just have to do something, set it up, and complete it. Now, Mike, you know people, don't you, that are always overwhelmed? They just can't seem to get their life in order.
And I also know people who seem to be cut out to do a lot of stuff. And here's the thing. Some of the most successful people I know are just, you wonder, when do you people sleep? But here's the thing. The person who complains about it and says, I have friends who will say, like, I got this and I that. And if it becomes a complaint, there's the problem. And I'll point it out. I'm like, well, then you gotta cut back. You're obviously not cut out to do this much stuff. But the people who are cut out for it, because there are, they never complain about it.
Well, I agree. I mean, the point is there's a certain amount of time that we have. Okay, let's say in a day.
Or in life,
or in life, sure. But if we even take it day by day, and if you plan the day before, you can take a look. Now, what am I going to do? What do I have to get done tomorrow? And then you start from there. The problem is so many people at the end of day after day after day say, oh, yeah, I didn't get done what I had to do. I just had all these things. And they really do have to prioritize and decide what can they do and what's really important. Because if you don't watch out, you're not going to meet your responsibilities. It could be something as simple as not paying your bills, not being responsible in terms of the things you're going to do for your family, for your work, whatever it might be. So we just want to have a reasonable list. We want to get things done as best we can and just have a good life. And you'll have a good life if you don't get overwhelmed by all the activities literally attacking you every day. You have to keep things under control, Mike.
Like often one of my priorities for the next day is, I remember Dr. John Braccio's buying me lunch. I got to write that down.
Well, I'm going to buy you dinner too. How does that sound?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. drjohnb.com on the web. You find him regional psychological services and the good work that you and your whole crew do, your family. Dr. John Braccio. It's always a good thing, Doc. We'll get together again next week, God willing.
Very good, my friend. Look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. 1320 WILS. This your morning wake up.